and welcome to Paddock Pass, your post-qualifying edition for the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix. Now, for most of the season, when we've said that Ferrari have been looking pretty good, what normally happens is that Mercedes lock out the front row of the grid, or at least the 1-2 in the race. Today, though, for the first time in 17 races, Sebastian Vettel is on pole position. It was nip and tuck between the Ferraris and the Mercedes drivers all the way through the session, leading to a thrilling Q3. But yeah, the grid itself is a bit of a mess. There are drivers out of position. There were crashes in qualifying, unexpected drivers dropping out at unexpected places, and all of it setting up, I think, a really great grid for what could be a really exciting Canadian Grand Prix. So first, let's look at Q1. So in P20 and P19, perhaps no surprise to see the two Williamses, Kubica 20th, Russell 19th, but there is little green shoots of recovery down there at Williams. New suspension and a couple of upgraded parts on the car have given it consistency, and that's ultimately what they've been lacking all season, particularly in Monaco. The consistency, the reliability, the knowledge of what the car was going to do corner to corner. They have that dependability now in the car because of that new suspension, and as George Russell said, the next trick for them is to start adding downforce and getting more speed, but a good first step for them, even if it doesn't really show in the positions. Lance Stroll next in P18. Obviously, he hasn't been out of Q1 for, well, quite a while now. Struggles in qualifying, but he did have a bit of an excuse today. His engine went bang at the start of FP3. All the Mercedes cars with a newer spec engine this weekend reverted to the old engine. He reckons that's cost him about 0.2 of a second over the lap, which was his excuse for not making it through. Kimi Räikkönen, P17. He didn't want to hang around, didn't really want to talk. It's been 3 races now that the Alfa hasn't been as competitive as the team had expected it to be, and certainly as we've expected it to be over the opening races of the year. I asked if the lack of pace in the car this weekend is a hangover from those past 2 races where it really started to tail off. And in typical Kimi style, he said that he wished he had a hangover. That was it. That was all we got out of him. Sergio Perez then, P16. Both Racing Point cars out in Q1. For Perez, though, it was simply down to a mistake.
Yeah, I think we thought we had more margin than what we did. Margins are very small around here. Just not getting the perfect lap out there meant that we are out of Q1. A couple of hundreds and changes your life. And the pace of the car, I was there, so I could have done it. Did a mistake into turn 10, so it's the worst possible feeling a driver can have when you know you could have done better and you didn't. The pace was there to go through, and then very small margins, so yeah, today was everything down to me.
Do you at least have the confidence, you say, in the pace of the car without that mistake, that you could be looking at the top 10 and have a car to fight for points tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully, but it's going to be a hard race with the management of the brakes. It's going to be a very, very hot race, and the brakes tend to suffer a lot, so it can be a very difficult one.
So, Kubica 20th, Russell 19th, Stroll 18th, Räikkönen 17th, Perez 16th, which took us into a very exciting Q2. With the temperatures being as hot as they are this weekend, none of the drivers really wanted to have to use the soft tyre in the race if they could possibly avoid it. So with that in mind, both Mercedes, both Ferraris and Max Verstappen in the Red Bull attempted to get through Q2 on the medium tyre. 4 of them achieved it. 1 of them did not. Ooh, who's it going to be? Max Verstappen. Ultimately, he got loads of traffic on his lap on the mediums, and the time just wasn't enough to take him through. So he went back out on the softs to try and get himself through. Ultimately, though, it all came unstuck, and here is why. Kevin Magnussen crashed at the end, pushing to improve his time. What that did was it actually pushed his teammate Romain Grosjean out, because Grosjean hadn't set a lap time at that point and was following Kevin to the line. So Grosjean's out in P15. Alex Albon in the Toro Rosso and his teammate Danik Kvyat, they're out in P14 and in P12. Kvyat reckoned he didn't have the pace to make it through to Q3 anyway. Albon agreed with him on that. Giovinazzi was a real surprise. P13 for him. Said he found it hard to get the tyres into the window. But I said, with some of the guys ahead, they're on the soft tyre. They're going to have to pit really early in the Grand Prix tomorrow. You can start on whatever tyres you want. Are you allowing yourself to think about points yet? He said, not yet. I can't think about that yet. I just want to focus on the race, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So he's P13. Let's talk to the man, though, who got bumped out. P11, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. First time he's been out qualified this year by his teammate. And really just couldn't get that first lap with the traffic. And then when it all came down to it at the end, the crash for Kevin Magnussen cost him that chance to improve.
Yeah, it's just unlucky. I mean, what can you do about it? We tried it on the medium, bit of traffic, so yeah, it didn't really work out for us. And then we said, okay, well, let's go on the soft again. I was on a decent lap, to make it into Q3, but then of course we had the red flag. So yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
It's going to be a busy race for you tomorrow. What kind of a car have you got underneath you? Can you push up towards a podium fight?
I don't know. I mean, starting 11 or maybe 10. I don't know what's going on with the Haas, but yeah, tricky one. I mean, of course you start a bit back, so first you have to clear the midfield traffic.
So then, it was Grosjean 15, Albon 14, Giovinazzi 13, Kvyat 12, Verstappen 11, which took us through into Q3. One driver not taking part in Q3, Kevin Magnussen. Obviously, car was totaled. He hit the wall of champions, bounced across the track, smashed into the pit wall, and made it back over to the wall of champions. Again, well, a little bit further down from the wall of champions. Proper pinball effort from K-Mag. It was a big hit. Came to the pen. He's okay. Car's not. He will likely start the race from pit lane tomorrow. Now, in P9 and P8, the two McLarens, Sainz was actually pretty angry with himself because he made a mistake, so didn't get to do his Q3 run, and he reckoned he would have been much higher up the grid than 9th. Lando Norris, oh boy, is he being hard on himself this weekend. I mean, like, really kicking himself. I said, I've not been ahead of Carlos in P1 and P2 all season long, and we're kind of looking at him and going, mate, you're a rookie. It's your first year. He's done this a couple of times. He's been to these tracks a few times. But Lando's been really, really hard on himself and says even though he's out-qualified him, he's still, he could have done better. He could have improved here. He made a couple of little mistakes. But I think a really good job from him and both of those guys looking for a strong result. Tomorrow, Nico Hülkenberg in 7th. It's a great team effort for Renault, but he's disappointed, obviously, that his teammate is ahead of him. Now, here's where Q1 gets really interesting. Valtteri Bottas, who, as we know, will be starting the race on the medium tyre, spun on the softs on his first run in Q3. And from that point on, he was massively on the back foot. He didn't have that safety net of a first lap. And he just pushed too hard, braked too late, locked up, didn't get it turned in. It was a really, really scrappy session for Valtteri. And he will start the Grand Prix 6th tomorrow. Pierre Gasly starts in 5th. He was pretty happy, but the team is going to have to play it quite smart with strategy. He will start on the soft tyre, so will be one of the early stoppers. In fact, the one of, not the highest placed soft starter, but one of them, because the man who qualified in P4 and the man we're going to talk to right now, Daniel Ricciardo. Great run from him. Obviously starts the race on the soft tyre. He's not been happy with Renault's strategy over really any race this season so far, but particularly in Monaco, where the team was left flat-footed. But a 4th place for Daniel Ricciardo, behind just 2 Ferraris and 1 Mercedes. An astonishing job from him and from Renault.
It's been coming, and we put a string of Q3s in now the last 3 weekends. So we knew that we should be there somewhere inside the top 8, putting it all together in qualifying, but 4th and a 10th or so off 3rd. That's probably exceeded most of our expectations for now, but it's good. It's really good. It shows that there is certainly something there, and for sure with the car, it's making progress and it is getting better. As I said, that's shown the last 3 weekends. But me personally as well, I think just the more seat time I'm getting in it, the more I'm starting to get on top of it, and even the work with the engineers. We haven't really touched the car much this weekend, and I think that's also a good sign that we're starting to work quite well together and not chasing our tail. And I think it was always going to come, but nice that it's come quite early on.
There have been, though, some frustrations over recent races with strategy, perhaps some mistakes or naivety going into the races. How do you get through that tomorrow to ensure that you maximise this starting position?
Yeah, we'll discuss it in a few hours' time, but in the next couple hours, I think we'll just high five each other and yeah, not have any drinks yet, but we'll wait for tomorrow night. But no, I just want the guys to appreciate this moment and enjoy it. Obviously, we do want to, capitalise tomorrow in the race and get, the bag of points that maybe we lost in Monaco. But for now, we'll just enjoy it and talk strategy in a few hours. But yeah, I think we've learned a few things and just be calm and get it done tomorrow. We'll be right.
Which brings us to our top three. Now, Ferrari have flattered to deceive all season long. Mercedes looked quickest in FP1. Ferrari started to come back into it in FP2, and in FP3 Ferrari looked good once again, but it was nip and tuck. Could Leclerc take it? Would it be Vettel? Could Hamilton do enough with that upgraded engine in the back of his car? Ultimately, it fell to Sebastian Vettel, a first pole position since his home Grand Prix in Germany last year, first in 17 races. He will be joined on the front row by Lewis Hamilton, who had that really uncharacteristic smack into the wall yesterday. Can't remember the last time we saw Lewis Hamilton actually make a mistake and bin it in a session. And Charles Leclerc in P3. They are your top three starters for the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix.
Not happy about my own performance. I think, I should improve on trying to anticipate as much as possible the track evolution and try to set up the car for Q3, which I didn't today. Q1 it felt good, Q2 felt a bit worse, and then Q3 I just lost a little bit of it and did two mistakes too. So it's I wouldn't have challenged Seb for pole position. He was too quick today, and he deserves completely the pole position. Congratulations to him, but I probably should have been closer. It's like this. I'll work on that to try and get better.
Just have to make up for it tomorrow.
Exactly.
You said yesterday you were wary of the threat from Ferrari, but it's been nip and tuck all the way through the day. Are you happy at least to be on the front row?
I'm so happy to be on the front row. Yeah, really, really am. I'm just generally happy to have come back from a pretty poor day yesterday. I lost a lot of time yesterday in P2, obviously didn't get to do much running. And then coming to today, was unsure where I was going to put the car. We did a great job, Bono and Marcus and the guys in the garage, really building the car back, putting the car back together. And then today, just having a clean, smooth day. I've done good laps, not really made any mistakes, stayed to the plan. And unfortunately, just wasn't quite quick enough at the end. But it's great to be right there with him.
I know that you would have loved the pole position, but we know that you relish a fight. How much are you looking forward to taking it to Ferrari tomorrow?
Yeah, I didn't do any of the long runs yesterday, so I don't know how the tyres are going to behave. But Valtteri had a good long run yesterday, and I've been really happy with the car today, so I should be able to get that in a good position. And then otherwise, it's 70 laps. It's a long way to go. So it's not the easiest when we're within a tenth or so of each other speed-wise. It's not an easy track to overtake, but lots can happen here. So we're just going to try and make sure we're on our toes tomorrow.
Looked like you really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I did. Obviously, a lot of adrenaline in qualifying, and quite tensed in terms of concentration. Obviously, you try to put everything in that one lap, or in that two attempts really that you have, and I was quite pleased. It worked quite well today.
And for the race tomorrow, Ferrari have flattered to deceive this season. How confident are you going into it that the pace is real, you've got it, you can take it to the guys behind you?
Well, we'll see. It's a long race. In the end of the day, anything can happen tomorrow, and we race to find out. As simple as that. I think our pace is stronger here. That's for sure. We are able to avoid the soft tire in the race. That's for sure. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but at least we won't start on it. We take it from there. I think good day for us. Very happy for the team. It's the right message for all the guys. We are flat out, and we've been criticized many times already this year. Sometimes right, sometimes not right, but that's how it goes. I think the most important thing is that we keep digging, and it's good to have a result like today, but we want to confirm it tomorrow.
So that is your lot from Paddock Pass, and honestly I think we've got a great contest shaping up for tomorrow. We know this track can produce very exciting races. We know it can produce a lot of overtaking, and with the soft tyre, some drivers think will last no longer than 5 or 6 laps. It's going to throw a real curveball into the strategies employed in the Grand Prix tomorrow. You've got the two Racing Point cars massively out of position, and we know they're fast starters. You've got Max Verstappen starting down the order. You've got Kevin Magnussen starting from the pit lane probably, and his teammate Romain Grosjean in a car that has looked quick this weekend starting from outside the top 10. You've got the McLarens in the top 10. You've got Valtteri Bottas starting out of position down in 6th place, and Daniel Ricciardo starting in 4th for Renault. And then you've got the headline fight. Vettel, Hamilton, front row, Ferrari versus Mercedes. Is this the race where we actually see them wheel to wheel taking it to each other? I think it might be. Can't wait, tune in. It's going to be an absolute stinker. Again, hotter than it's been all weekend, which will roll the dice, I'm sure, on strategy and tyre wear and all of that kind of stuff. That's your lot. We'll see you on Sunday.